Hey everyone, today I'm going to break down all the parts of the bicycle. We're going to go over just basic names of what these parts are called and what they do. Because I know I've done a lot of maintenance videos in the past and I've just used lingo that some people don't always understand exactly what I'm talking about, and this video I'm doing today was actually suggested by a viewer for me to do. So to start things off, I'm going to just do a basic view far away so you can see the whole bike. Just for the general parts that are really easy to see. Now for the closer up parts, for the smaller parts that are harder to see, we're going to get a closer angle so you can get a really good idea of what we're talking about. So let's see, where should we start? What do you say why don't we start at the front, at the top, moving our way down and towards the back. So our highest part of the bike, we have our handlebars, we got our grips, we have our shifters, brake levers. You can't just say brakes, because if you say brakes, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, if you say that there's something wrong with my brakes, I don't know if you're talking about your brake levers, your brake arms, your brake pads. So, brake levers. We got cable housing, which is, the outside of the cable. Cable goes inside the housing. This piece is called our stem. Let's see, further moving down, we have our headset. This is our head tube. This here is our top tube. This is our down tube. So the way to remember the tubes, top tube is easy enough because it's on top. Head tube is at the front, with the headset. Down tube goes down. I guess we can continue on with the rest of the frame. This is our seat tube. That one's easy to remember because our saddle or our seat and seat post come out of it. And then the other parts of the frame, we have our seat stay, which this is easy to remember because it attaches to our seat tube. And then our chain stay. That one is also easy to remember because it runs alongside the chain. Alright, so our frame is all done, even though I said I wasn't going to do it that way, but okay. So moving along, back to the front, talked about our head tube, we talked about our headset. Down here we have our fork. Now let's see, yep, you can tell I got a flat tire. I'm going to be changing this thing pretty quickly. Yeah, so our cable goes inside the housing. Now these brakes here, these are called cantilever brakes. I'll give you guys a close-up here. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a close-up of our brake system. So, I talked about the brake levers, which, then the cable goes through the housing, and eventually it comes out here. This style of brake is called cantilever brake, or center pole brakes. I call them cantilever. I don't know, I think that's more generally accepted than center pole. So, our brake cable comes down here. Now this is called a brake arm. Same thing as this on this side, it's all the same. This would be our brake pad. So, grips the rim, that's how the brakes work. V-brakes are a little bit different, which are more common than this. This is actually a pretty... I thought that these were old style brakes, because this bike here is from like 1994 or 1995, I think. And I haven't really seen a lot of V-brakes on more bikes that are newer today. I usually see disc brakes and V-brakes. But I've seen a couple new bikes with cantilever brakes installed on them, so I don't know if they're making a comeback or what. I personally do not really like cantilever brakes because they're harder to service. There's a hole here for an Allen key, but that doesn't remove your pad. You have to actually get a little skinny wrench back there to loosen up that nut. And have an Allen key in there, so they're not as easy to work on as regular V-brakes. Alright, so these are V-brakes. This is kind of an awkward angle because this bike is hanging up in the garage. But, see, the V-brakes are a little bit different. That's our brake arm, brake pads there, and then V-brakes have a noodle. So the cable goes through the housing, and then it comes out through this noodle, and then it comes out over here and connects onto this side. But I think the V-brakes are just easier to service yourself, because in order to adjust the pads, all you got to do is put an Allen key in right there, and then you can loosen that or tighten it or change position or take it off. you don't have to have a wrench as well. So our front wheel, we got our tire, our rim, spokes, then in the center down here is our hub. Now this bike has a quick release. I'm not going to take the wheel off, but if I was, surely you guys have removed a wheel before. But if not, there's a little bar that connects our left side to our right side. And that bar that's inside there that goes through the hub, that's called a skewer. Here's a closer view of our front derailleur, along with our chainring, our crank arms, pedals. But basically, right down in here, our bottom bracket is inside of this. And so all those parts together make up our crankset. The pedals, the crank arms, the bottom bracket, the chainring, that all makes up our crankset. Next we have this is our front derailleur, which shifts the gears onto the chainring. Moving along, talked about our chainstay and our seat stay. So we have our rear brakes, rear tire, rear rim, rear spokes. They're all the same as it is in the front, just the same. Our hub's down there. This is our rear derailleur, which shifts the gears up and down our cassette. So that's so that's pretty much the whole bike. A few more things I haven't mentioned. Now where our wheels attach on the front and on the back, those are called dropouts, where the wheels attach to the bike. So I know that this video has been kind of a short one today, but I will be doing another short one later on this week to make up for that. I've had a few maintenance issues with a couple bikes that's kind of thrown off my recording schedule as well as my own riding time. So that's not fun, but I guess it just gives me more stuff to do. So the maintenance issues I have, I think I already pointed out that I've got a flat tire right here, which I just noticed today. That's no fun. So I'll be taking that off and getting that fixed. Normally that's not a big deal. I can get that done in just a few minutes. But the issue is that I'm out of tire patches, so I need to get a new patch kit. And then the other issue, this one is a really big one that's really bumming me out. I broke another spoke on my rear wheel on the Riviera. So I've got the rear wheel off. It's in the bike shop right now. I've trued a wheel once in my whole life, and it took me forever, and I hated doing it. I'm not very good at it. I need to actually get better, but I don't have any of that equipment at home. I don't even have a spoke wrench. I could do it in the shop where I work, but I figured I would just pay the bike shop and have them do it. So that's the second spoke I've broken on the rear wheel of the Riviera in like 3 months, probably less than 3 months, which tells me that that rear wheel is getting to the end of its life. Like pretty soon, those spokes are going to start popping like popcorn, and that's not good. I'm having them replace just the broken one. That'll get me a little bit more life, but I'm thinking probably by springtime I'm going to need to replace that wheel because it's getting to the end of its life. And wheel replacement is not cheap. It is not cheap to replace wheels on a bike. So, got to figure that out. And then the other thing is that, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but there's a little bit of play in my bottom bracket because I can rock that crank arm back and forth. So tune in a couple of days. I'll have another short video up. And then also the video of the week next week should be pretty exciting. I'm really excited about it, so I'm not going to say what it is. You guys will have to tune in and check it out. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Leave a comment if you have any questions about parts of the bike, or anything that they do, or anything that's related to bikes, whatever. And as always, subscribe for more bike fun. I will see you guys next time.